Hello, my name is Yonis. In this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to use Visual Basic in order to create a secure software application which stores information into the internal system. Then you will be able to actually close the system, open it again, and the information you have basically saved will be saved and you will be able to actually see it. So photopea.com, which is a free version of, basically it's like Photoshop, but it's a free version. So new project, and we are going to change the width and the height to, let's make it 500 by 500. Click create. Okay, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a new layer by clicking the new layer icon in the bottom right corner. I'm going to hide the background layer, go to my rectangle tool and click on custom shapes. Now I'm going to go to the shapes and I'm going to go to the search bar. I'm going to type tick box, or let's say check. Okay, I've got some options here. Let's use that one here, and then I'm going to hold the shift key down to make sure my shape is perfect square. If I do not hold the shift key down, what will happen? It's stretchy. Okay, so once you've done that, if you're not happy with the color, you can always go to the fill, select this little box here, and then you can actually always, let's click and drag this here, we can always change the color to any color of your choice. My choice, I'm just going to make it green. Let's make it a bit lighter. This green will do. Okay. The next thing we need to do is put, let's put this in the middle. So I'm going to use the move tool to put it right in the middle. And the next thing we need to do is hide this. And we're going to create a new layer. With the new layer selected, I'm going to select the custom shape tool again. I'm going to click here, and then instead of check, I'm going to put X. I'm going to scroll down to find something, or let's say exit. Now close. Now X. Let's have a look here. What's available? This will do. Now I'm going to hold the shift key down again, click and drag. And I've got my X. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to right click, rasterize the layer. I'm going to use the lasso tool and I'm just going to highlight all of this apart from the X, and then I'm going to press the delete key on my keyboard. Now I'm going to highlight this part, press the delete key on my keyboard, and now I'm going to go to edit and select deselect. Where's the deselect? If I go to select, deselect is here then. Deselect, yeah. Select, deselect. Now I'm going to duplicate the bottom layer by clicking and dragging it to the new layer. Or, if I Control Z to undo, I can right click, then select duplicate layer. I'm going to make this visible, and I'm going to rasterize this layer again. This one here, and I'm going to remove, let's hide that one here for now. I'm going to remove now the tick box here by highlighting, selecting again. I'm using the lasso select tool, and I'm going to press the delete key on my keyboard, then select and deselect. Now if I make the above visible, I'm going to go with the above layer selected. I'm going to edit, select free transform, and now I'm going to hold the shift key down and increase the size of Okay, the shift is not working, so just click and drag to increase the size of the X. Press the enter key to register, and now I'm gonna hold the shift key down to highlight both layers. So I'm selecting with the first layer, hold the shift key down, select the bottom layer, right click, and then select merge layers. So now I've got my X layer and my tick layer. Okay, so for my X layer, I'm going to make the X red. So I'm gonna use the select magic wand tool and click here. Make sure you select the right layer, and I'm going to select red color. Let's use this color here, this red. And now I'm going to use the, where is it? Bucket tool. Okay, it's there. Paintbrush tool, and just click once there. Now I'm going to go to select and select deselect, and yeah, let's go back to the magic wand tool and let's select the border as well. Let's go back here to the paint bucket tool and click once. Okay, so let's go back to select and deselect. So now I've got my green and my red X. Okay, so now what I need to do, I need to go to image and select trim, so I don't have, and click OK, so I don't have any access around my box. And now I'm going to, let's right click and delete this layer. We don't really need this layer. Now I'm going to file, select export as and PNG. Yes, I export my first picture. I'm going to hide this tick box now, go to my X, I'm going to go to file, export as PNG. Okay, now I'm going to file and save as PSD for further editing. Okay, in the future. Now I've got this. Let's create now a logo. I'm going to file, select new, let's make it 1500 by 1500. I'm going to hide the bottom layer, and I'm going to create a new layer. With the new layer selected, I'm going to use custom shapes again. Click here, and I'm just going to search for bed, because this is a hotel. Just going to click and drag. I'm going to hold the shift key down as I click and drag, and I'm just going to make the color. Let's click on the custom shape again tool. Just going to change the color to gradient and click here on the gradient. Let's bring the gradient editor here. I'm going to double click on the black sachet here. I'm just going to change the color to this color, and I'm just going to bring this a bit closer here, and I'm going to click just below the gradient next to the other sachet. If I want to delete that, I can click and drag it downwards. But I don't want to delete it, I'm just going to put it there, and then I'm going to create another instance of the sachet, the white sachet. I bring it there, and now I'm going to click right in the middle here and double click. I'm just going to change the color slightly. Okay, and let's click OK. And now I'm going to double click on the side of my layer to generate the layer style window. I'm going to apply bevel, And let's change the settings a little bit. Soften it. Let's put stroke as well. And let's change the color to maybe pink. Let's increase the size a little bit. Let's bring the opacity down a little bit. Let's select outer glow. Let's click on that. Let's put purple. And I'm going to apply some noise here. Change this to normal. Bring the opacity up to probably 96 will do. I'm going to select spread, and now we're going to change the size a little bit. Then let's click OK. Now I'm going to put a text. I'm going to use the text tool here and click here. I'm just going to put here my H. Let's call it my H. This is the hotel. Oops. Let's escape that. Let's click again the text tool. Let's click on the text tool here. I call this my H, so my hotel. I'm gonna change, I'm gonna click here on the text tool again, or you can click on the text layer. I'm just gonna change the color to, let's make it this color here. And also I'm gonna right click here on my icon logo layer, copy the layer styles, so layer styles, copy the layer styles. I'm gonna go now to my text, right click, layer styles, and paste layer styles. I'm going to use the move tool now. Let's put this there. So I've just created the logo. Now I can actually remove the excess. So I'm going to go to image, select trim, and click OK. So now I'm going to go to file, save as PSD for further editing in the future. I'm just going to call this my H. Now I'm going to go to file, select export as PNG. Let's save it. The next thing I need to do, I need to convert this into an icon. I'm just going to open a new browser window and I'm going to put icon converter. Let's click on the iconconverter.com. I'm going to choose the file, which is here. And then I'm going to select upload. Now my file is going to be converted to an icon, so I'm going to click here, convert to icon, and now I'm going to click download the icon. Okay, the icon is downloaded. So now I'm going to minimize. Okay, now we are going to create a project, so click create project. From the drop down list we're going to select Visual Basics. From on the search bar we're going to say .NET, and then select Windows Phone App.NET Framework, click next, and we are going to call this my H, my hotel, click create. Okay, the next thing we need to do is go to project, select add form. It's going to be Windows Phone, and I'm just going to call this FRM login.vb. Make sure you have form Windows Phone selected, add. Then I'm going to go to project, add new Windows Phone. I'm going to call this FRM main. Again, make sure forms Windows Phone selected. Now I can actually go right click on my form 1 and select delete. I don't need my form 1. Alright. The next thing we need to do is go to my project, and instead of startup opening form 1, because we deleted that, we're going to select FRM login. Now we are here, we are going to icon as well, click browse. I'm going to go to my downloads, and I'm just going to select my icon, the icon I just created. I'm going to go now to my main phone, click on my main phone, and change the text value to my H, my hotel. For the form, I leave that name, FRM main. I'm going to find the default icon, click on the three dots, and then click on my icon. So I've got my icon here. And I'm going to follow the same process on the login form. So I'm going to select my form, change the icon, the default icon, to my icon. I'm going to make this form a bit smaller. I'm just going to change the text value here as well. So it's going to be my age hyphen login. Okay, so here I'm going to change the background color to something else. I'm just going to click web. Let's use maybe this color here. And then going to apply a button. I'm just going to change the background color of the button to something else. No. This will do. And I'm going to change the text value to login. And I'm just going to change the name value to btn login. Remember, variables and objects do not have spaces. The next thing we need to do is apply a picture box. Let's put a label as well. Let's add a picture box. Let's add a text box. Okay, with the label selected, I'm going to change the name of the label to LBL login, or you can call it LBL password, it's up to you. And I'm just going to change the text value to please add your password. I'm going to change the font color, the font color. Let's click web, let's scroll down, put something bright, not too bright that one, let's put, that's better. I'm just going to change the font size, let's make it to 11, and let's change the bold to true, that's better, okay. Just going to increase the width on my text box. I think the background color of the button is a bit too bright. Yeah, that's better. I'm just going to change the font color as well for the button. Yeah, to that. Let's make it bold as well. Let's change the size to maybe 12. That's better. Let's change the font size on the text box to 12. Now let's change the size of the picture box here. I'm just going to click on the little play icon here, choose a picture, import. I'm just going to import my logo and change the size mode to stretch. That's better. Okay. So now I've got everything in place. The next thing I need to do is go to my project, click on settings, and here I'm just going to put here room 1, and then here I'm going to put room 2. If you have more rooms, you can actually put extra rooms there. And here I'm just going to put here password. Let's call it my pass. Okay, so we set them to string. That's okay. In fact, let's set my password, my pass, to open 1 2 3. Now I'm going to use this variable to basically be able to access to the securely into the system, into the main. Here I need to put a button that basically will enable me to log out. So I'm going to change the text value to logout, and I'm going to change the name value to btn logout. Now when I actually click on this, when the user clicks on this button, let's double click it, I'm going to say me.hide, and then I'm going to say frm login, domain frm login dot show. Okay, so what will happen every time somebody clicks on the btn logout, the current form will hide and the login form will open. Okay, let's go to the login page now, and I'm gonna double click here on my login. Have I actually changed the names appropriately? No, I forgot to change the name of the text box. So let's put txt here. We can put login, or let's put password. The button will change, the label will change, and the picture box, let's change the picture box, pb, let's put login. Okay, so now we can double click on the button, and we are going to create an if statement. We'll say if txt password dot text is equals to my dot settings dot my pass, then I want something to happen. So if basically my settings, my pass matches the password basically field, the txt value, then I want something to happen. I want to say me.hide, and then I will say frm main.show. Okay, else message box.show, then I will say the message. So I will say please add the correct password. Okay, now let's summarize what we've done. We created frm main, and we added the logout button. We created frm login, and we added a label, a text box, a button, and a picture box. Then what we did is basically we applied the following if statement here. If the password is correct, now the password is coming from the settings from here, which is basically here, so my pass we call it, and is open123. So let's go to my project and make sure, if we go to application, make sure the very first form that opens is the login form. Let's save this project and click start. Right, if I type anything here and click OK, I've got a warning, please add the correct password. And if I put open 123, we should be able to have access, as we do. Yeah, we have access. And if I click log out, I've managed to log out, but I've got a problem here. People can still see the password, so I can actually flick through. Okay, so let's fix this. Let's stop the project. Let's go to my login page and double click on the login button. So once I've logged on, what I want to do, I want to say txt password dot text is equals to, I'm just going to put empty value here. So now if I test it, and I put here open 123, click open, so I managed to log on successfully. If I click log out, the values are empty. So if I click login now, the password is not matching. What we can do here as well, we can actually add a new option here on the main menu, sorry, on the main, which will say change the password. So I can add a new form. It's going to be new Windows form. So it's going to be FRM change password, and I'm just going to make this a bit smaller. What I can do is go to the FRM login and highlight all these. Control C to copy. I'm going to go to FRM change password, Control V to paste, and let's have a look what color I have here. Medium. Let's highlight this. Control C to copy. Let's select my form for the background color. Control V to paste. Okay, and then I'm just going to change the label. Add the new password. Okay, I'm just going to change the label, so I'm going to say LBL change password. I'm going to select my text box, TXT change password. I'm just going to change the BTN to change password, and I'm just going to change the label text value to change password. Just going to select the, let's make this a bit bigger. Let's put it in the middle here. Let's select the picture box. The picture box will be called PB change password. Okay, and here with the form selected, I'm just going to change the text value to my age change space password. That's better. With the form selected, I'm going to the default icon. I'm just going to put a new icon here. So I've got now change password form. So if I double click this now, I will say txt change password dot text equals, and I will say my dot settings dot my pass, and then I will say my dot settings dot save. Okay, so I'll say this, basically the text box, wherever the text box shows, it's going to be added onto my pass. It's going to be same thing, and basically then we're going to save the settings. So let's try this. Let's go to start, and I'm just going to type here open 123, click on login. Oops, I forgot to put here change password. Let's close that. Let's go to FRM main. Let's add the new button, and I'm just going to call this change password. So the text value is change password, and the name value will be BTN change pass, because I already have the other one, BTN change password. Password, I'm going to call it navigation. So I'm going to double click this button. I will say me dot hide. I will say frm change password dot show. And then when I'm in change password, let's go back here. Once we save the settings, we're gonna say me dot hide. I will say frm main dot show. So as soon as I click and change the password, basically, it will take me back to the frm main. Let's save this. Let's start. Let's put here open 1 2 3. Click login. I'm on the frm main, so I'm going to change the password. I'm going to put a new password as yy123. Click change password. Now I have been redirected back to my main. I'm going to click log out. Now if I put open 1 2 3, it shouldn't work. Okay, it's still working, so I'm not saving it. Let's have a look what's happening here. Let's stop the project. Okay, this is what I've done. This is me being silly. So let's code that here. Let's code this. And I will say my settings dot my pass equals to, we change the order. Okay, so my settings is equals to wherever I put on the text box. Let's save this and click start. Let's try again. Open 1 2 3. Click login. Let's change the password. The password will be yy123. Change the password. Log out. If I put here open 1 2 3, it shouldn't work. Yeah, correct. And if I put here yy123, I've got access. Okay, that's cool. So let's stop this project. Let's go to the settings, and let's go to settings here. Okay, as you can see here, because the project is still on the development, it still shows the old password, but when all this changed, so if I save the project and restart it, it will show the open 1 2 3 again. But once I actually export this on the temporary file on the debugging folder, the settings are stored. Okay. The next thing we need to do here now is go to the frm main, and we are going to add a button, a checkbox, and a picture box. Okay. Let's increase the size here. So for the checkbox, we are going to remove the text value. Let's put here this checkbox. Yeah. Let's highlight this and bring that to the side. So with the button selected, I'm just going to change the text value to room 1. I'm just going to change the name value to btn room 1, no spaces. I'm going to change the text box, the checkbox, sorry, to cb room 1. And I'm just going to change the name of the picture box to pb room 1. Now I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to right click and select copy. I'm going to right click and select paste. And I'm just going to click on the checkbox and change the name to CB room 2. Select the button. I'm just going to call this BTN room 2. Also change the text value to room 2. And also change the picture box to PB room 2. Just gonna make this a bit smaller. It doesn't have to be that big. So what I need to do here is double click on the button room 1. Now I'm going to create an if statement. I will say if CB room 1 dot checked equals true. So if somebody checked the CB room 1, what I want to do, let's go back here to where is it, settings. So we have room 1 with lowercase r, room 2. Okay, let's go back here. All right, so if CB room 1 dot checked equals true, then I want something to happen. What I want to happen is my dot settings dot room 1 is equals to, and now I'm going to put the path of where the pictures are. So I'm just going to go here on my downloads, and this is where my tick box is. So let's put this in one folder. Let's Control Z to undo. Hold the Control key down to highlight this. Copy this. Let's cut them actually. I'm just going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it IMG images. Let's paste them here. Alright. So now what I need, let's hold the Control key down. I use the wheel on my mouse to zoom in a bit. So let's call this tick.png. Let's call this x.png. I'm going to right click on the tick.png and select properties. Show more options of properties. I'm going to highlight my path, Control C to copy, and then I'm going to put the path here, and then I'm going to put backslash, and then I'm going to put tick.png. Next, we are going to say my.settings.save, because we want to save the settings, and then we'll say picture box, sorry, PB room 1 dot image is equals to image dot from file, and then in parentheses we're going to say my dot settings dot room 1. Okay. Then we're going to put an else statement. I will say else. Oops. Else. Message box. So put else. Yeah, we're going to put no message box. Excuse me. Else. In fact, instead of typing all this again, I'm just going to copy all this, the 3 lines here, my settings, else, my settings, room 1, I'm just going to change that to x.png, save the settings, and basically the picture box, room 1, will show basically this picture. The next thing we need to do is go to, let's save this. Let's go back to the main form view. We're going to double click on the form now, and what I want to do when the form loads, I want to basically load the picture box. So we'll say pb room 1 dot image is equals to image dot from file, oops, not from stream, from file. Then in parentheses we're going to say my dot settings dot room. 1. So when the form loads, it will basically show wherever the settings contain, if it contains the X or the tick. Then we're gonna basically put here, in fact, let's put here an if statement as well. So we'll say if my dot settings dot room1 is equals to, then we're gonna say tick, yeah, okay, room1 equals, let's put this in double quotes, if my settings dot room1, okay, equals to this, then I want the CB room1 dot checked, let's double click, checked to be equals to true. Okay. So basically, if it's checked, I want to be able to see the checkbox to be equals to true. I'm going to show you exactly why we put this here. So if we save this project now, let's run it. My password is YY123. Oops, I've got issue here. PD room. Okay, all right. Let's stop this. This is because it cannot find anything, so the value is empty. So let's copy this. Let's go to the settings. Where's that? There. Let's put these default values here for now. Let's press start. We'll say YY123. Okay, oops, we have an issue here. I forgot to stretch the picture. Let's stop that. Let's go here and let's click on the play icon and select stretch image. Oops, the project's still running. Let's stop it. Click here, change that to stretch image, and let's do the same for that one here, stretch image. Let's save and let's start again. I will say YY123 login. We can actually see this now. Okay, so if I tick this box and click room 1, now I have basically saved the tick box now. So if I stop the project and I run the project again, it should remember the tick box. So YY123. Yes, and it does. Because I've added on form load, make sure to check if the tick box icon is selected. Make sure you check the tick box. If I click here and click room 1, so make sure the room 1 now is occupied. So I can stop the project and I can start the project now. Let's put here YY123. As you can see, this is not checked, and here we have the X. So let's fix now the room number 2. Let's stop this project. Let's double click on room number 2, and basically we're replicating exactly the same thing. So let's put the private sub for the form 1. Let's call that. Let's put this at the very top. Let's put this at the very top. So we have the form 1 statement. Let's put here. This is on form load. So let's lose this space there. This is the logout button. This is the change password. And this is the first room, room 1. So we need to basically replicate this. So we're going to basically copy all this if statement from room 1, right click, select copy. I'm gonna put this into the room 2 now, paste. The only thing I need to change here is the room 1 to room 2. So where you see room 1, we need to change that to room 2. And if we have more rooms, we're following the same process again. Okay, that's it. All right. So this works, and then the next thing we need to do is on form load, we need to basically highlight this line, in fact highlight the if statement as well, copy this, skip a couple of lines, this is on form load, Control V to paste, we'll say room2.image, okay, it's wherever it is on the images on the room 2 this time, and if my settings room 2, okay, is equals to checkbox, then I want the checkbox for room 2, checkbox room 2 to be checked. So let's save this, let's start again, and let's put the password here, YY123. So as you can see here, I can see the occupied rooms. I can click here, check it, and I can click here and check it, and then I can log out. I can basically go back in, YY123, and they are checked. If I stop the project and run again the project, and I put YY123, I can still see that my data is saved, so everything is working. You can always customize these buttons the way I customize the logout and the change password screen. So the next thing we need to do is basically when I go to logout, when I type YY123, people will be able to see my password. We don't want this to happen, so let's stop the project. Let's go to FRM login on the design view. We're going to select the text box and we're going to find the password character, and we're going to change that to an asterisk. So I'll put an asterisk there. You can put any character, you can put hashtags if you want. Let's save this, let's start. And now if I put the password again, which is YY123, I won't be able to see it, but I can still log on. If I log out and I type something else, I can see the warning. Okay, so everything works. Right, the final thing we need to do here is we're going to go to save the project, and then we're going to go to build and then publish my H. Just going to find a location here. Let's put on my desktop. I'm just going to create a new folder. I'm just going to call this my H v1. Click open and click finished. My project files are generated. I'm going to double click on the setup. I'm going to click on install. The software is installed. So now if I go to my start menu, I can see my H is installed. I can run it. Let's put HH123 login. Please add the password. Oh, okay, the correct password. Okay, let's put here open 123 because I was working on this here. Because I'll put the static open 123. Now if I change this password, change the password to something else, I'm just going to put here AA123456. Change. Log out. I will say AA123456. And now I can actually access it. If I log out and I type here open 123, you won't allow me to log on. Okay, and now this basically stored into the system AA123456. I can check the boxes here. I'm not going to do this yet, so I'm just going to close the application, go through, open the application again. I'll say AA123456. And now I can see that the data is stored. Log out AA12345 and my application is fully working. I hope you've learned something new today. I hope you will be able to apply these new skills of yours to create great software applications. Bye for now.